Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve chess. In today's video, I'm going to show you a game played between Alexander Alekhine and Aaron Nimzowitsch, and it was played in Sanremo, Italy in 1930. And this game is famous for one primary reason, is that Alekhine formed his own gun, and that is called Alekhine's gun these days. And another few reasons I would like to highlight from this tournament is that Alekhine finished at the top with 14 points with 12 wins and 2 draws. And another important thing is that there were so many great players were playing. Example, Aaron Nimzowitsch was playing, Akiba Rubinstein, Boglu Zubov, and Rudolf Spielmann, Gesa Maraxi. So the list goes on. So without much delay, let's get started to the game. And in case if you're watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. Alekhine started the game with 1 e4, and here Aaron Nimzowitsch replies with the French defense, that is e6. And after d4, d5 hitting the center, we have knight c3, inviting to play the whenever variation of the French. And after bishop to b4, we have e5, grabbing more space in the center. And after c5, the natural move, striking or trying to cushion the white center. And after this move, Alexander Alekhine plays bishop to d2, just unpins the knight, maybe planning to move it to b5 and trying to go to d6. And in this position, Aaron Nimzowitsch plays knight e7, developing the knight and getting ready to the castle. And after this move, knight b5, as I was mentioning, and here comes bishop takes d2, we have queen takes d2, and then Nimzowitsch castles on the king side. And after this move, he plays c3, and he did not put the knight on d6 immediately, but he goes c3 first, and after b6 he plays a pawn to f4. In this position, before moving this pawn to b6, we have this idea of knight to c6. This is a better variation comparing to the move which was played in the game. So say for example, the game could continue with f4. After c takes d4, we have knight takes d4 or c takes d4, both are okay, and I will prefer this move, knight takes d4. And because anytime this pawn is coming to a6 to kick the knight, but okay, that knight is going to go to d6, but in later that will be challenged with knight c8 ideas. So here, let's go back and continue the game. So in this position, he plays c3, and after b6, Alekhine plays f4, gaining more space in the king side, and we have bishop a6, trying to pin the knight and trying to do some damage on the king side. If the knight moves, then the bishop will take, then king will lose the castling rights. And after this move, he completely ignores and plays knight f3, and we have queen d7 now, putting pressure on the knight now, so for the second time, and we have a4, so supporting that knight for one more time, and we have knight bc6, and after b4 we have c takes b4, c takes b4, and now comes bishop to b7, and now knight to d6 finally. And in this position we have two options to continue, and in the game Aaron Nimzowitsch continued with pawn f5, and instead of that the move is a5 is the best choice, because if you don't play a5 yourself, then he is going to play. That's what is happened in the game. If you play a5 before f5, we have b5, then the knight has to go to b4, and the game would continue. And in this position, instead of that move, he plays f5, right? So f5, and after that a5, and now the thing is, queen side, the position is trying to is trying to open the position on the queen side. But another important thing, or the interesting thing, if you look at the king's position, white is still keeping the king in the center. So let's see how he manages to win the game. So here he plays knight c8 immediately, trying to attack, or trying to remove the knight. And instead of that move, you should play this move, a6. Let me show you why. Since he played knight c8, what happens is, we can simply take the bishop, and after queen takes b7, and we have a6 ourselves, and that's the problem. And in the ending, this pawn is just 2 move away from queening. The queening is not possible for the time, but still it's worth to note that the pawn is sitting on the 6th rank, right? So after this move he plays queen f7, and you should not put the queen on e7, because that will block your knight and the knight will be in trouble. So bishop to b5 attacking the undefended knight, and it's coming with the tempo. And after knight 8 e7 we have finally on the 19th move we have the castles on the king side. And after this move he plays h6, kind of waiting move. But now he did not realize that okay, there is some kind of weakness is available on c6, and that is where Alekhine is going from here onwards. So I would like to highlight 3 to 4 important points when you have the weakness, or when your opponent is having the weakness. You should identify the weakness first of all, and the second most important thing, you should occupy that semi-open file or the open file with your rook, and then you start doubling on the same file and start to or try to infiltrate or penetrate into your opponent's position. And the final thing is you should start attacking. That's it. The attack will flow automatically, and if you could follow these steps, very simple. The number one is identify the weakness or occupy the open file. That's it. And from there you are going to double it, penetrate it, and then the attack. The game is over. So similarly, let's see how Alekhine forms his own gun in this game. And after this move, this is a 20th move of the game, that is rook fc1. The move is naturally coming because I want to occupy the c file which is already open. And one more thing is he has got the weakness on c6, right? So combining both the things, he plays rook fc1, and after this move he plays rook fc8, indirectly or trying to support the knight. In this position he plays rook to c2. Another important move to consider is to simply lift the rook to a3, and then the rook can come to c3 also. But here he plays rook to c2, preparing to double on the c file. And in this position, Arun Nimzowitsch plays queen to e8, and instead of that move, that's a losing move completely. The game is losing now. Already white is clearly better in this position, and the right move is to simply unpin this, or what do you say, just get out of this attack. Say for example the knight can go to d8, and after this maybe he will double and we have the some exchange, but still the c file is under control from white. But we have knight g6 and the game would continue. But the problem is he wantedly goes into this self pinning, where the knight is pinning to the queen, or pinned to the queen. So we have rook a c1, the doubling thing, and after rook a b8 we have queen to e3. What's the purpose of queen e3? He wants to lift the rooks up, and then he wants to put the queen on c1. And here in this position he also tries to double the same, so double the rooks on the same file. So rook to c7, and we have rook c3, and after queen to d7, and still he did not break the pin. That's the another very big problem in the current position. And after rook 1 c2 we have king f8, and he brings the king to the defense. That's very word actually, because after queen to c1, when you are going to break the pin, and how the king is going to help in defending this battery. So that's the problem. And this is where, or this is the first time these three pieces were stacked in a single file, and that is called Alekhine's gun nowadays also. So what is the power of Alekhine gun will be revealed soon. After the queen c1 we have rook bc8, and he is trying to defend, but we have bishop to a4. Retrieving move is very important. Now since we have three major pieces lining in the same file, it's very simple, right? So the knight is simply pinned. So if we can tickle the knight, then the knight will go, so then we will be winning the game, right? So that's the point of playing bishop a4 immediately. And now he plays b5, but after bishop takes b5 we have king to e8, and after bishop a4 trying to do the same thing again, and we have king to d8. Finally he tries to defend with the king, but now he says you cannot defend your position, and he simply plays this move, that is pawn to h4. And believe it or not, in this position actually Aaron Nimzowitsch resigns the game. Why he resigns? It's because of the following variation. I would like to highlight 2-3 variations in this position. And after h4, in case if you wait with such a moves like h5 or g6, let's check first g6, then we can immediately play the move g3 and we will be waiting again. And anytime if you want, you can simply grab the knight. So let me show you another variation that's very interesting. And if you play this move pawn to h5 instead of g6, we have knight to g5. And after knight to g5, black has two options, because the knight is coming to f7, right, to attack the king. And in this position, if you move the rook away, why you have to move the rook away? It's because of the fork coming up. If you completely ignore the knight f7 check, and if you play the move g6 now, and we have knight f7 check, after king to e8 we have the fork now, knight to d6 check, king to d8, and we have knight takes e8, queen takes e8, after bishop takes c6, knight takes c6, rook takes c6, rook takes c6, and again rook takes c6, we have queen to b8, and this is a completely lost position. And I would like to show you to the till the end. And we have a queen to c5 threatening to infiltrate, and we have king to d7 and rook to d6 check, king to e8, rook takes e6 check, king to d8 is forced, queen e7 check, again it's all forcing moves, king to c8, queen e8 check, king c7, we have rook to c6 is a checkmate. And going back in this position, yeah, so in this position, instead of allowing this knight f7 check, if you move the rook away, it's very simple. We can simply win the knight directly. So bishop takes c6, knight takes c6, we have rook takes c6, and followed by rook takes c6, and now again rook takes c6, and we have a complete piece up. So this is a complete winning position. And considering all of this, and basically this position is zugzwang for black, and any move or any waiting move or any move, he is going to lose the game eventually. And that is why Aaron Nimzowitsch, after the 30th move of pawn to h4, he resigned the game. I hope this game helped you to understand what is an Alekhine gun and how to form it in your own games. And what do you think about this game? Please let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And in case if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to the channel Chess Visor, your wise choice to improve your chess.